Hi, everyone. So this week, you'll be focusing on poetry. And there's a journal this week. You're going to write on a couple of poems from this week's readings. So the poems that you're reading this week are Introduction to Poetry by Billy Collins, Those Winter Sundays by Robert Hayden, Mr. T by Terrence Hayes, My Papa's Waltz by Warutki, The Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams. So you're going to be choosing two of those poems, and you're going to just discuss those poems in a one-page journal entry. So one page, kind of difficult for two poems. So I would say, probably more like 1.5 to 2, minimum one page though. So think about why you chose the poem. Consider the literary devices that are used within the poem. So, are they using imagery? Are they using hyperbole? Are they using similes, metaphors? What kind of symbolism do you see? And then I have a lot of guiding questions underneath the journal 3 prompt. So you can use those guiding questions, or you don't have to use those guiding questions. They're there, just to give you a framework to work within if you choose, but you don't have to. So the questions that are there are, can you paraphrase the poem? Just give a brief, synopsis of what you think it's about. Who is the speaker in the poem? What is the speaker's tone? What heavily connotative words are used? What images does the poet use? And do those things relate to one another? What figures of speech are used, and are there any symbols, and what do they mean? So you don't have to use any of those questions. And you definitely don't have to use all of those questions because that's way too much to answer in 1 to 2 pages. So you're going to choose 2 poems, and you can talk, like some of these poems do relate to each other in different ways. So you can choose, poems that you think relate to each other, or you can choose poems, just because you like them. They don't have to be related to one another. So that, that choice of focus is 100% up to you. You also have a discussion for this week, and I'm just going to get over to that page. And then the discussion, is also related to your journal. What, poem from this week drew you in, and what poetic devices did the writer use that caught your interest? So, of the poems that you chose, choose one and just talk about, what it is that drew you into that poem. So I know for me, I'm very into poems that are narrative style and that tell a story in a very, short amount of writing. So, I know, for example, for me, I'd probably choose Those Winter Sundays to talk about, or I would choose Introduction to Poetry to talk about. So, think about, what aspects of the poem interest you, and why you decided to choose that one. So that's your assignment for this week. I will be working on your essays. I just finished up your journal too, so you can look for those grades in your grade book. Those are completed. And I also graded some of the quizzes that I received today. So if you just submitted within the last couple hours, they haven't been graded yet, but I will work on the quizzes and the essays throughout the week in order to get those back to you. But Journal 2 is, completed 100% at this point, so you can definitely take a look at that. And I'm just going to check the syllabus really quickly too. I want to make sure I didn't miss any readings or anything. And I didn't. Okay, so we're good for this week. So you have your discussion due, and then your Journal 3 due. So Journal 3 definitely due September 30th, by 11:59 p.m. But the discussion, try to get that done sooner in the week, just so people have time to respond to you. So at the very latest, complete it by Friday. That way, at least people have another couple days of the weekend to have 2 people to respond to. If everybody waits to the last minute, it's going to make it kind of difficult for everybody to get their discussion posted. All right, well, that's all I have for you. If you have any questions or you need anything, feel free to reach out. Thanks. Have a good week.